Well, few teams in the AFC East are good, but some are just straight up not so good. Let's rock. All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Antonio, and welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast. Today, we are talking about the AFC East. Now, the last four episodes I have done have been on the East, the South, and North divisions of the AFC and NFC. I've gone over my predictions for each of them. So this time I'm going with the AFC East. Next time we'll be doing the NFC East, which has, of course, America's team there, which some people like to call it, but not me. It's just wrong. But anyways, before we get this video started, I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please make sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's get this video started. First up, you got one of the biggest national embarrassments from last season that is only getting worse. From the greatest dynasty to the worst team in the NFL, the New England Patriots. The Patriots are straight up trash. I mean, it it is they are garbage right now. And I mean, Drake May is not going to help them a bit because he's gonna probably start, but I doubt it because Jacoby Brissett is a veteran, and I think that it would be best for them to do that so they don't throw a rookie right in there immediately. The Patriots are the worst team in the AFC East alone because you're going against teams like the Bills, who maybe you beat last year, but you don't have a good quarterback now. You also have the Dolphins that have a much better offense than you. The Jets, which I'll be going over in a second, but this team is just straight up awful. I'm not going to even talk about them that much. Floor, if they do end up doing this, they would be one of the worst teams in the NFL. 0 and 13, 0 and 17 if they do end up doing it. And at best, at ceiling, I am just gonna do 3 and 14 because at least I would see them at least getting 3 wins at the least. But anyways, let's move on to the next team. But the Patriots are trash right now. Next up is the third place team. Now, the last few times I have gone over from the division winner to then the division lowest team. This time I'm switching it around. From the first half I did that. The second half I'm going to go from the bottom teams all the way to the top. But anyways, next up is the New York Jets that are for some reason declared as Super Bowl contenders. I'm sorry. What? I mean, for one, the Jets haven't done anything in 14 years. They have not made a playoff appearance in 14 years. And they've had 8 straight losing seasons. But then again, Aaron Rodgers was out last year because he only played 4 snaps. But, anyways, the Jets, they are declared as somewhat of a Super Bowl contender. I don't really buy it yet, but this team is going to be relatively interesting to watch because the Jets, it's the Jets pretty much, and they have not made the name for themselves since the name of Joe Namath came back in the 1960s. And this team has just been trashed since then. If Aaron Rodgers can somehow revive this team, I'll be surprised. But if they can't win a playoff game, that would be an absolute bust of a pick, of a trade, if you ask me. But anyways, floor for this team, I could see this New York Jets team end up going, if at worst case scenario, Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again and Tyrod Taylor now has to take over for him, I can see this team going 7 and 10. But at best case scenario, if Aaron Rodgers is what he is declared to be, I could see him going 9 and 8. At worst, at the at the least. Because the Jets, they still got a lot of tough competition to go against. They may have had a top 10 defense, but they still need to show that they are what they say they are, which is a Super Bowl contender. Until they prove it, I'm not putting them any higher. But for now, let's move on to the next team. Next up is one of the fastest offenses in the NFL, which is, of course, the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, after last season getting knocked out to Kansas City, looking like legitimate frozen sushi out there.
Ooh, so cold out here. Why do I even play in this weather for crying out loud?
But anyways, I just had to throw that out there. But they went out there and got a few key pieces like OBJ. They ended up getting loads of pieces, including Calais Campbell, which might be washed up. We don't really know. But then they also got Chop Robinson and Muhammad Kamara in the draft, which I think Muhammad Kamara is going to be a sleeper, as I mentioned in my top 5 rookies that'll break out that to watch out for. So be sure to go check that out if you haven't already. But anyways, the Dolphins, they need to prove they can play in inclement weather because if they can't play in inclement weather, they're pretty much a 500 team at the least. So, for as far as records go, at the least, at the floor, worst case scenario, I can see this team going a total of 7-10 because they would have lots of injury prone guys and not be able to play in inclement weather. At best case scenario, if all goes well and Tua is able to survive the elements, I could see this team going 12-5 at the least. But of course, we will see what happens. But now let's move up to the last team of this division. But last but not least, you got the defending AFC East champion, which is the Buffalo Bills that lost a lot of weapons last year during the offseason. They lost Micah Hyde. They lost Tre'Davious White. They lost also Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, Mitch Morse. I mean, this list could go on and on for crying out loud. But anyways, the Bills, they reloaded during the draft, drafting Keon Coleman and then also going into the free agency market, also getting Marcus Marquise Marcus Valdez Scantling. That was a two-time champion with the Kansas City Chiefs, their hated rival. And then they also went out there and got Chase Claypool, who spent the last half a year of his season last year with the Miami Dolphins. But Chase Claypool has not performed since his days back in Pittsburgh, and he's been pretty much a bad guy, a bad player for the last few years. But especially with the Bears, when he was traded to the Miami Dolphins. But anyways, this this team, this team is just I don't even know what the word is to pronounce this team right now. But the Bills, they lost almost everything. And Josh Allen is going to need to perform at his highest peak if he is going to get this team back up to what it was. And in total, as far as a floor record for this team, if at worst case scenario, Josh Allen is transforms into the worst quarterback in the NFL, which I doubt because he's going to need to grow from having an all-star receiver sooner or later. But as far as the ceiling can go, if relatively decent, I could see this team going potentially 11-6 because they're still one of the top teams. If they can beat Kansas City in the postseason, maybe they can finally win a Super Bowl. But of course, let's jump in to the rankings and standings that I have for each team of the AFC East. Now for the standings of the AFC East, which I'm going to predict. But last place, no surprise here, the New England Patriots, because they're just so bad right now. They're legitimate trash because their offense is not going to do good. Their defense is trash. They're just going to be awful this year. Prepare yourselves, Patriot fans, because you're going to be in for a rough year. Third place, I'm going to put in the Jets because despite the team being what it declares it is, which is a Super Bowl contender, I need to see it first in order to believe it. And I just don't right now. If you can't keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, we have not seen him in action since he was with the Packers. I highly doubt that the Jets are a Super Bowl contender because we have not seen it yet. But anyways, moving on. Second place, this one kind of got me a little debating. I'm gonna put in the Bills though because the Bills they lost a lot of weapons in free agency and also releases, which is awful. And but that means that the Dolphins come in at number one, winning the AFC East for the first time in a while since like 2006, if I remember correctly. Hopefully I'm right, but anyways, to recap, Dolphins 1, Bills 2, Jets 3, and the Patriots coming in at number 4. But let me know in the comments what you guys think down in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win the AFC East? Let me know down in the comment section below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all in the next one. Next time we'll be doing the NFC East. I'll catch you all then. Ciao for now.